Hello, cat aspirants. Welcome to another episode of Build the Cat series. Today, we will be looking at a DI problem from CAT 2024. So let's get started. We have the country GDP problem. We have countries 1 to 10, with 9 country being having the highest GDP and country 10 having the highest GDP per capita. Also, we know that GDP per capita is the GDP of a country divided by its population. So let's have a look at the information. So in the first column, we have the countries 1 to 8. In the second column, we have the GDP, but the GDP that we have, that's been provided to us as a ratio. So it's the ratio of that particular country's GDP divided by the GDP of country 9. Since we know the country of GDP 9 is the highest, everything is as a percentage of GDP as country 9's GDP. So for example, if the GDP of country 9 is 100 billions, so GDP of country 1 would be 15 billions, so on and so forth. Also, in column 3, we have the GDP per capita, which is given to us as a ratio of GDP per capita of country 10. So if the GDP per capita of country 10 is 100, then it would be 41 for country 1, 25 for country 2, so on and so forth. Also, we have GDP growth rate, which is there for next 3 years, and we have population growth rate for the next 3 years, which remains constant. Also, we know that negative population growth rate means the population has been decreasing over the next 3 years. So unlike the logical reasoning problems, we will not be solving the problem completely, because if you start extrapolating the GDP values for all the countries for the next 3 years, that would be a very calculation exhaustive and it would take a lot of your time. So for DI, the trick is to only solve and only calculate the values that are being asked in the problems, in the questions. Do not solve anything else. Our major objective in solving DI is to minimize the calculation as much as possible. For LR, we might look for a perfect solution because that might be the case. But for DI, the approach is exactly the opposite. So let's look at the questions now. So we have 4 countries now in the options, country 3, 5, 7, and 8. And we want to know which country is going to have the smallest population in 2024. So this doesn't look like a very big calculation. So always try to do your calculation in terms of percentage to arrive at the number quickly. So first, we'll be doing it only for these countries. So let us consider country 3 first. So for country 3, the GDP divided by GDP per capita would give us the population. Again, since the GDP and GDP per capita are being, given as ratios with a specific set value, a given benchmark of country 9 or country 10 respectively. Therefore, we can directly use these particular values to calculate the population because the ratio is still going to remain the same. We are not calculating any exact values in this problem. We'll be only looking at the ratios because that's what we have been given with. So for country 3, the population definitely is more than 1, which is not the smallest. So we can ignore country 3. For country 5, it's 10 by 36. So if you see 10 by 36, 9 out of 29 on 36 is exactly 25%. And 12 on 36 is 33%. So definitely 10 by 36 is going to lie between 25 and 33% here. And since this is closer to 9 than to 12, then definitely I can say this is going to be close to 26 or 27%. So I'm not going to calculate the exact value. I'm just going to note down that country 5 is around 27, like 0.27. The value is around 0.27. Next, I have country 7. So country 7 as well, I can see that 6 by 30. If it would have been 6, then it would have been 6 by 30 or 1 by 5, which is exactly 20%. And 10 by 30 is exactly 33%. So 8 by 30 would be around midway. So it would be around 26%, 25, 26%. So this is country 5 and country 7 almost have the same values. Now let's consider country 8. I can see that if 441 is the denominator, so 4.1 is the 10%, and 8.2 would be 20%. So definitely 7 is less than 8.2. So this value is less than 20% or less than 0.2. Hence, I need not calculate any other value. So country 8 or option A is the right answer. Option A. Country 8 has the smallest population. Then what is the ratio of country 4 GDP to country 5 GDP? So this is what I need to calculate. The GDP of country 4 currently is 0.12 and country 5 is 0.1. And this has been growing at 0.5 and 0.7 steadily for the next 3 years. So I can just multiply it by 1.005 and 1.007 respectively to get the numbers in 2026. And if you see this ratio, again, the denominator we have 10.14. So around 1 is your 10%. So if this is more by, and numerator is more than denominator by 2. So this is close to 20%. So my option A is the right answer, 1.195. Next I have, which of the following countries would have the largest population in 2027? First, I'll calculate the current population values. Now I can see that country 7, it's currently it's having the smallest population and it's going to decrease for the next 3 years. So no matter what, it's not going to be the largest. So I'm going to ignore country 7. Similarly, country 5, this is less than in population in country 4. Also, its growth rate of population is small as compared to country 4. Hence, it cannot be largest again because it's going to be smaller than country 4. I'm going to then only calculate the values for country 1 and country 4. And as you can see, country 1 is definitely more in population than country 4. So answer is option A. Next I have, for how many countries among country 1 to 8 will the GDP per capita in 2027 would be lower than in 2024? As you know, the GDP per capita is GDP divided by population. So if my GDP is that the numerator is rising and if my population, that is the denominator, is decreasing, therefore I can say that for country 1, its GDP per capita is going to rise because my numerator is increasing and my denominator is decreasing. Next, I can also do the same for country 2 and country 7. So 1, 2, 7 are definitely I need not calculate. Next, country 3. If you see, the numerator is increasing at a rate of 6.5% and the denominator is increasing at a rate of 0.7%. So definitely this value, right, the multiplier, it's definitely going to be more than 1 because the numerator is growing faster than the denominator. That means for all the countries where the GDP growth rate is more than the population growth rate, the GDP per capita would be more in 2027 than in 2024, which is all the countries. So the answer here is 0. So this was all about this particular simple problem from CAT 2024. Hope you have learned some calculation tricks. Tell us in the comments what DILR question you want us to solve next. Till then, stay motivated, stay focused, and we will see you in the next episode.